Sony just pushed a surprise PS5 Pro VRR boost update, and gamers across the US are already calling it one of the biggest performance jumps we've seen this year. So today we're testing exactly what changed and whether this update actually gives you smoother gameplay, lower input lag, and more consistent frame pacing across next-gen titles. And trust me, some of these results shocked me. First off, the most noticeable upgrade is how stable the frame rate feels now in fast-paced games that used to struggle with dips. And with the new VRR tuning, the PS5 Pro can now maintain smoother motion even when games fluctuate from 120 FPS down to the 80 to 90 range, which used to feel choppy before but now feels almost seamless, especially on OLED TVs popular in the US like the LG C series and Sony Bravia models. The responsiveness also feels snappier, and if you play shooters like Modern Warfare 3, Apex Legends, or Fortnite, you'll immediately notice how quickly your reticle reacts, making aiming feel more precise and reducing that tiny jitter effect many PS5 Pro players complained about. Another major improvement is frame pacing, which basically means the console is delivering each frame at a more consistent timing, and this helps the gameplay feel fluid even when the FPS numbers aren't perfectly stable, and this is a huge win for open-world titles like Spider-Man 2, GTA 5 Enhanced, and Cyberpunk 2077, where micro-stutters were more common. What surprised me the most is that several games that didn't officially support improved VRR performance are now benefiting indirectly because the PS5 Pro is handling fluctuations better at the system level, and this means smoother gameplay without developers needing to push updates for each title. When testing on both a Samsung QLED and a Sony XR OLED, the improvements were very noticeable, especially during fast camera pans and heavy combat scenes, where motion blur felt reduced and clarity stayed higher during movement. HDR also looks more stable during VRR gaming now, which is something many gamers in the US have been demanding because older VRR updates caused dimming or brightness shifts, especially on OLED panels, but this new patch keeps brightness more consistent and prevents those dark dips during gameplay. If you're wondering whether this update affects everyday PS5 Pro gaming, absolutely yes, because even in non-competitive games, VRR smoothing makes everything feel more cinematic and polished, especially in games with unlocked frame rate modes. So should you enable VRR right now? 100% yes if you have a compatible monitor or TV, especially if it's 120Hz, because this update finally fixes the inconsistencies people were frustrated with, and makes the PS5 Pro feel like the premium next-gen upgrade it was marketed to be. And if you're thinking about buying a new TV for your PS5 Pro setup, this update actually makes VRR support the most important feature to look for in 2025, even more than brightness or color accuracy, because smooth gameplay is what unlocks the true power of the PS5 Pro. Overall, this update is a huge win for PS5 Pro players, making games smoother, sharper, and more responsive than before, and if Sony continues these performance-focused patches, the PS5 Pro could easily become the best-performing console experience going into 2026. Let me know in the comments if you want a comparison video between VRR on versus off across the top 10 US popular games, and make sure to subscribe because I'm testing even more secret changes not listed in the patch notes.